This is episode 501 on the 30th of March 2022, the final episode of March 2022, and the most stupendous episode, the most stupendous talk show on the planet stands and delivers, and has stood and delivered a record 397 episodes since that break in October 2019, 16 October 2019. But when it comes to time mismanagement, what do you associate with when you say time mismanagement? Well, there's only one. There's only one tournament, there's only one example when one talks about time mismanagement, and that is the Indian T20 National Domestic World Cup, which has started off in a mundane fashion. If you look at the results of this tournament so far, the 5 matches which have taken place, except for the anomaly in the Hyderabad-Rajasthan match, where the team batting first won the match after scoring over 200 runs, and then the classic excuse was the wicket offered some seam. There was turn and bounce, and there was something in the wicket for the batters, bowlers, and whoever is involved. But these are just classic excuses, as the terminology goes. Naach na jane Angan teda, naach na aave, Angan teda. A poor workman always blames his tools. So when a team doesn't do well, what do you blame? You blame the pitch, you blame the weather, you blame everything else except your performance. Apart from the anomaly of the Hyderabad-Rajasthan match, where the team chasing did not chase the score and lost by a big margin of 70 plus runs, the first 4 matches had a similar template. Win toss, bowl first, and get the target. It happened in the Calcutta-Madras match, where Calcutta chased 130. In the Delhi-Bombay match, where Delhi chased 180. In the Gujarat-Lucknow match, where Gujarat also chased around 160. And in the Punjab-Bangalore match, where Punjab chased around 200. This is what the tournament has seen so far. And well, the rest of the matches being in this manner, in this mundane manner, that win the toss, hold first. Hopefully, the team batting first doesn't get more than 170, 180, and if they do, can they defend it? But then, winning the toss, bowling first, chasing a target is nothing novel. It has been happening for so long. We just didn't put the focus on something as mundane and as ridiculous as the toss because it's luck. So there is no use talking about the toss. But when it comes to these world domestic T20 competition, whether it's in Australia, that is the Australian T20 League, also known as the Big Bash League, it happens in summer between December and January, that is Australian summer. Whether it's in India, that is the Indian T20 Domestic National Cup, it happens between April and May, that is the Indian summer. Or it happened in South Africa. The South African one is not as popular as the former two because, well, South Africa is South Africa. You don't have too many foreign players and it doesn't have the kind of build up, the kind of things associated with it because with such tournaments, glamour comes along with it. And the South African tournament doesn't have that kind of glamour. And unlike the Indian or the Australian tournament, which at least takes around 60 days minimum to complete, this one finishes in 20-25 days. And it happens usually in the daytime, that is the afternoon evening period, which is 3 or 4 o'clock local time. No one wants to watch a 20-over match at 3 p.m. unless it's a double header, which is a different story. Everyone prefers watching such kind of tournaments in at 7 p.m. or whatever the time has been decided. Also, the one in the Caribbean or the West Indies side of things, there is some glamour because players from such tournaments are recruited in other teams. This happens somewhere around August, September, that is their summertime or whatever is the best time to host that tournament. And then, of course, there's one in England, which includes the 100 and other tournaments. It hasn't got that kind of traction. The 100 was not even broadcasted in this part of the world. You were dependent on digital sites to look at the score. And then, of course, when there are no Indian players involved in these tournaments, why do you want to watch these tournaments? What do you gain by it? Well, let me tell you, I have already told you what one gains by it. So let's not get into that mundane discussion. And then, of course, there's the one in Sri Lanka. 5 teams involved, no Indian players, and you can see the limited budget because the matches happen quickly. Sometimes teams play 2 matches in a space of 3 days, and the tournament finishes in 20 days, unlike the 8-9 week period of the Australian and the Indian one. It finishes quickly. There's one also of our neighbors on the west. They also have such a tournament. As always, no Indian players involved, and the players involved there may not get a chance in the Indian tournament. So the question is, Indian tournament somehow eclipses all these tournaments. I have watched all of them, whatever is available on television to watch, because it's not on television, it's not on digital platforms. Also, that is on the digital cable network. That's the bottom line. So, what do these tournaments provide? As I've been saying for the past 15 years, such tournaments, because they happen in the summer time, they are like summer internships. Remember when after college we wanted to do summer internships in a major company and get some kind of experience and certification and notice? Well, those moments weren't televised, but such moments are televised. So it's summer internships for all and sundry, whether you are an established player or a semi-established player or totally new player in terms of being on TV and performing. Well, no player is new, but these tournaments give opportunities to individuals who have perhaps never performed at this level. They may have done some local tournaments which are not televised, and they all happen quietly without the fanfare or the glamour involved and all the televised part of things involved. Well, that's something which can be made for a long time. So these are summer internship. It's an opportunity to earn an extra pocket money. You are already, these players, especially those who are playing for their country, that is active contracted players, already earn a certain paycheck from their governing bodies. But such tournaments give an opportunity to earn extra pocket money. We all did it. Everyone does it in summer. So it's like a summer internship and opportunity to earn extra pocket money so that you earn a livelihood and maybe your family are comfortable and you move from a rural area to an urban area. If you look at how things go, this has been the major thing. I want to move from a rural area, from a small house to a big palatial kind of environment. They all go for that. So it's not surprising whether it's a foreign player or an Indian player or an established player or an Indian established player. That's how we do it. And there are some players who don't get that kind of respect from the PEDP media, that is the print, electronic, digital and pseudo media. But when they perform in these tournaments, the doors open to perform at the national level, and not everyone replicates. It's a matter of being persistent, being consistent, and things can go either way. There are a lot of players who have done well in this tournament and in the non-televised tournaments, but they never get a chance to play at the national level. That's what everyone wants. Of course, the domestic club versus country debate is something which has been going on for so long. There is no solution. And then the whole question of should the governing body not give an NOC, it's fine. If the governing body decides we are not going to give an NOC to our players, especially our marquee players who may find themselves injured as far as these tournaments are concerned, they will not. And if they don't, they don't. There is no debating. Yes, the extra pocket money that comes from the players and the governing bodies also earn a chunk of the revenue, whatever the deal is behind the door, deals happen. But sometimes money has to trump other things, of course. Pseudo-nationalism versus such pseudo-loyalty is something which has always been at the heart of such debates, whether it's football or this particular tournament. Let's forget what happens in US because there is no national team there. You only have those domestic tournaments, NFL, AFL, NBA. That's what it is. There is no national level team. There is no bilateral gimmick happening. And then the most important thing, it's a gimmick audition for the World Cups. Especially with World Cup around the corner in the next 7 months and then in the next 12 to 18 months. This is a gimmick audition for the World Cup. Whenever the World Cups are due to take place. This is a chance to prove to your governing body and the 5 individuals who will select you or whatever are the number of selectors that I'm fit, I'm playing in this tournament, which means I can play for the national team. I was out of contention as far as the national team goes. If I perform here, will I be able to do enough? Well, that's a question which has been a raging debate for so long. I won't go into details about that, but it's a gimmick audition.
It's 8:30.
Not everyone will get an opportunity as far as going to the World Cup is concerned, because the team can only carry 20 players, and out of that, 7-8 individuals have been doing the job for the past 3 years, so they are not going anywhere. And if a certain player doesn't perform in this tournament but is a so-called marquee player, MVP for the national team, they may still get a chance. So it's not outright that if a certain bowler or a batter who has not played for the country but wants to do it, performs well, will they get a chance? Will they be in the backups? Will they be in the reserves? It's a difficult proposition. There is no hard and fast rule that they will get a chance. What about those who were part of the team? Then they were out because of injuries or whatever other reasons. Then they started performing in this tournament when they were on that level of this being started and other individuals taking their place. So it becomes a competition. What is the team looking for as far as the World Cup is concerned? Will it influence the national captain who will be watching other players perform? Because here you're playing for a domestic team, you have to be loyal to that team, even if your teammate performs well who is in another team. You will be happy inside, but you cannot show that happiness because right now you're not playing for the national team. You're playing for a gimmick tournament which has a different outlook to it. It's summer internship, it's pocket money. To perform here, you may get a chance. Not every time, if we did well in summer internships or work hard for those 2 months, were we in that zone that we would get a chance in the actual place. It never happens. It's a very dicey situation for all involved. And then everyone will judge certain individuals who want to come back into the team. But the debate has always been, performing in this tournament, is it good enough to get a chance in the national team again? Have you impressed the stakeholders involved enough? It's a question which can be never answered. If players, a lot of players have been selected on basis of this tournament and other non-televised, non-glamorous competitions, and of course the 5-day version of the same also. It's a very dicey situation for everyone involved, and there is no solution. Get a chance, but to get injured again at the national level, then the question will be, did the player play too many matches at the domestic, or was the clearance of health or clearance of fitness given by the physios of that team not good enough? This debate is going to continue as long as such tournaments continue to flourish, and these tournaments are in focus. Injuries are going to happen even before a player comes in. That player is injured. A player may get injured during the tournament. You have a lot of permutation and combinations to take care of as far as the players and other individuals involved are concerned. So, who all participate in this tournament when it comes to foreign and overseas players? So there are 3 kind of individuals. Discards, as in individuals who were part of the team but they did not do enough to impress the governing body, so they were told you were out. So they decided, if I'm not part of the contracted team, I'm a inactive contracted player, I have nothing to lose. I will play these tournaments all around the world. They're not retired, but they're in that discard. You're not good enough, you are out. Then there's a pack of retired individuals who want to extend their career beyond the game, so they come and play in these tournaments. As always, earn that extra profit. Of course, the retired group can also do it through commentary, which they always do once they think that they no longer have the energy left to play, because at a certain age it always happens. And then there is a group of active contracted players, the whole story of their governing bodies, their employers, giving them the no objection clearance. Okay, international tournaments are done, you can go and play, but not everyone will go. Because, of course, the whole nationalism debate comes into picture, injuries, falling, succumbing to the virus, and so many other factors. Of course, the lure of the pocket money for the players and for the governing body is something that has to be dealt with delicately, but some boards have understood how to circumnavigate the situation, and they have a plan. So they say, no, you play this tournament first, and then if you don't feel the fatigue, you can always go and play for the domestic teams. Or you can go home and take a rest and be away from the bubble nonsense. So there are three kinds of players. When it comes to Indian players, if you have been selected by this team, if you are an active player, you have no option but to participate. Otherwise, you may find yourself out of the national team, because it's understanding between the management of these teams and the governing body that if we have selected these players and these players are also in the national contract, then they have to play unless if you're injured, you succumb to the virus or other things happen. So Indian players, unless something happens, they have to play each and every game, unless of course the team management of that team decides, okay, for this match you are given a break or you are out because you're not performing. But that happens 0.1% of the time. If you're an active contracted Indian player, you have to play. So then comes the question: should players be penalized, whether it's especially the foreign players? Should foreign players be penalized for not participating for whatever reasons? I think they should not be penalized for not participating, whether it's injury or fatigue or whatever. It doesn't matter if the teams have paid a humongous amount to contract them, they have a contract, they have an understanding. If some players opt out, I respect those players. I respect them. It means they have taken a decision that they don't want to be injured and then find themselves out of the national team as well. This debate is ongoing for decades. Of course, the Indian cricket board or the organizer of this tournament is always under pressure by that particular team or the teams that we want these players, if they don't play, penalize them. But I don't think they should be penalized, because that's not the way things work. And the policy should be fixed. Alright, if you don't have too many so-called foreign players in this card, entire active contract, then it's fine. Have more Indian players play. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. You have to be flexible. You can't be rigid in these situations. Those who don't want to play, they have a choice. They may lose out on money and glamour and having a televised opportunity, but they don't want to be injured. And of course, even if they say things like, I want to be with my family and such reasons, it's fine. Won't affect the dynamics, whatever the plans the team have. So for me, they should not be penalized. There should be understanding between the governing bodies, the team management of such teams, and the players that if I'm not coming, we'll have another replacement, because they will be in the bubble. They cannot move out of that bubble, and because the virus can come at any time. And then if they have already played enough at the national level where they're already in a bubble, than to come here and continue that bubble bath is something they don't want. So I think it should be left to the discretion of the players. If they feel they have done enough, move on. So don't make it into a big deal if players are not available. Things change. It's time to be flexible. If they're not available, they are not available. So this ends episode number 501 on the 30th of March 2022. I will be back with episode number 502 on the 1st of April 2022. So stay tuned.